something. You don't have to share everything. We probably don't have time for everyone to go through their responses to each of the prompts, but just think about maybe something that feels alive or that you just feel a nudge to share. For me, I think one of the biggest gifts of today, but also just the season that I'm in, is I really sense God inviting me to like childlike faith and as a writer, like childlike play. And the image that I get is the little kid who had the loaves and the fish, and just like the disciples are scurrying around, like, we need food, who has food? And I almost sense this kid just like so excited, like, I have food, like I can help. And he's not like, he just comes in faith with these things that are obviously not enough. And yet God, like Jesus takes that and multiplies it. And so in my writing, how can I be more like a child, willing to play, willing to bring and share what I have without the lies and fears and inadequacies. So
I can share. I am sitting here in tears actually at the moment, because I'm realizing that there's finally been a connect for me in my writing process between the writing creative brain and the program coordinator brain that I've had and used and applied in the past. But for some reason, that's where I always got stuck. Which comes first? How do I build a foundation that's strong enough that I'm not constantly going back and reworking the base? Because I'm also a time management brain, that the type A, I want to do it first, right? First time, right? Which is not playful. That's not fun. But today I felt just that change, like he was taking me out of that desolation, of that confusion, and of that frustration. And then he's bringing me to a place where he's showing me, no, there is a connect in these two parts of your brain. And I've been growing that, and here it is. So yeah, big moment. Thank you.
mhm. That's beautiful. One, just your faithfulness to show up despite feeling stuck there for so long and feeling the disconnect and like trusting God in that mess, and then now to have that, like, oh, it makes sense. That's beautiful, Laura. Thank you for sharing that.
You do have to know your audience. And I ended up reviewing something in the middle of a huge work I had and realized that grief and loss, overcoming it, and that's the whole mission of of my writing. I'm also running a grief share group, but but it was about the business that I operated in the 90s, and I was reviewing that today. And yeah, it has to break off into its own book. Each book has to be separate because people can take it in and take the lessons from that season. And God gave me 3 seasons. So yeah, clarity of vision.
That's awesome. Well, and sometimes it's hard to wrap our brains around because we're one person. So we're like, wait, shouldn't it all go in one book? But like, there's different parts of your life that will speak to different
And,
people.
and also it's important to recognize that sometimes we have to let go and step away and renew ourselves and then come. It'll, if it's to be, it'll call us back. Yeah,
So true.
yeah,
Yeah. Thank you, Marv.
yeah.
I think well, I got a message for somebody else, but I'm not gonna like say who, but that even, and this is for me too, but like even if we sit here and we show up um and we're trying to do the thing, whatever mini goal we have in mind, and it goes horribly awry. Like maybe the words just aren't coming, maybe we're going in loops or circles and whatever. That even though, like, perhaps it wasn't as fruitful in the specific ways that we wanted it to be, it's still not for naught. Like it's still valuable. It's still worthwhile. It's still important to be, and to be present, um, to work through the process, however that's going to look, if it's going to be hard or not. So that's something I'm taking away today.
Thank you. That's such a good reminder, because I think we can be so hard on ourselves when it doesn't look like how we wanted it, or even, and that's the thing too, in communities, sometimes we shy away because it's like, well, I don't want to hear how everyone else is like doing it or breaking through, and my stuff feels like shit today. Like but we all have days where it does feel that way. And so thank you for being attuned to God to speak that. Sarah, it looked like you were gonna unmute.
Yeah. I think kind of like what Marv said, it was clarification. It was, I have tended to run from this calling for a lot of years. And yes, Natasha, I see you. But just the concept of I actually did the work and tried not to be as distracted because I'm highly distractible. And I was like, I don't even know how to move forward in this. And I got some of that clarity and some of that. And so now we literally just put an offer on a house today, or got an accepted offer. So this isn't going to be touched for, the next 60 days. But, how do I move forward in the small stuff, at least for now? Because yeah, it was just, I usually tend to not follow through with things, especially if it's meant for me. And just the fact that I did it's kind of impressive.
It's a big deal. You showed up, you came, you stayed the whole time, you left your video, like all of those things are big things. And I love that you're making that space for what God's doing in you and your creativity. It's beautiful. Anyone else want to share? We have a few more minutes. And it could even be a hard thing or a question you're carrying with you from here. There's room for that.
I really appreciate how it's like chunked down into the 45 minutes time slots, because my childcare didn't work out today. And like I said, okay, I'm not gonna give up my time for myself, which I usually always do, because of inconveniences or whatever. And I was like, I'm gonna put these kids on screens, and like they're fine. Like it's okay if they're on screens for the next like 3.5 hours so that I can get recharged, because the writing journey has got to come out somehow. And like they're gonna be okay. Like they're gonna be all right. So I'm learning, like, you know what, I'm tired of throwing myself under the bus for everybody. Like this is the one small thing I look forward to like each month, and it's like worth it for my kids to just be on screens for 3 hours so that I can get what I need out of this time with all of you.
Yay for no to mom guilt and doing it. And you'll be like that. There's that release when you get ideas moving and out. So that's just gonna bless you as my kid stands here in my door. Close my door. Of course, they bring me lunch now. Like I can't wait for 6 minutes. But okay. I don't want to rush us off, but if anyone, I'm not gonna say it wrong now. I'm thinking, Elisa.
Yeah, just, what Natasha just said, it just reminded me, we've all heard this before, but about, you get on the airplane and they say, when that mask falls, put your own mask on before you attempt to help anybody else. Because obviously, if you pass out, you're not any good to anybody else. So I think that can be applied to any area of self-care or our need as writers to make sure we take the time to write, because that's our lifeline. And if we pass out, we are not going to be any good to anybody else.
Preach it. Rockets from Marv. I love that.